Hello again to all our friends and fellow classic car fans. They don't build them like this anymore. It was a masterpiece of American engineering from an era of ambition and optimism. Let's explore the 1963 Oldsmobile Jetfire. For those of you who were around back then, let me take you back to a time when the air was electric with promise and the open road beckoned like a siren song. Imagine yourself standing on a sun-soaked lot, the smell of fresh paint and polished chrome filling your senses. And there it was, the Jetfire, a compact marvel. Its sleek lines and bold design whispered of a future where anything was possible. The first time you laid eyes on this beauty, it was more than just a car. It was a vision of freedom and adventure. Under that long, elegant hood rested a turbocharged V8 engine, a groundbreaking innovation that delivered a robust 215 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque. It was the kind of power that made your heart race, a promise of thrilling drives and unforgettable experiences. The Jetfire could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just around 9.2 seconds, a feat that made it a true performer in a world where speed was king. But it wasn't just about numbers. No, the Jetfire was woven into the fabric of a generation. It was a car that invited you to roll down the windows, crank up the radio, and feel the wind tousle your hair as you cruised down the boulevard. It was a time when families piled into their cars for weekend getaways, drive-in theaters flickered with the latest films, and the sound of rock and roll filled the air. Each drive was an adventure, a chance to discover the world beyond your front door, and the Jetfire was the perfect companion for that journey. To understand the Oldsmobile Jetfire, we must first understand the America that created it. It was a country full of hope and dreams, where innovation was celebrated and every street corner held the potential for a new memory. This was an era of exploration, where the highways stretched endlessly ahead, and the Jetfire stood as a symbol of everything that was good and exciting about the American spirit. So buckle up, my friends, as we embark on this nostalgic ride through time, exploring not just a car, but a cherished piece of our collective history. In the heart of Detroit, during the early 1960s, a symphony of ambition and creativity hummed through the factories and design studios, where the dreamers gathered to shape the future of American automobiles. This was not just a city, it was a crucible of innovation, where the spirit of competition was as fierce as the roar of a V8 engine. Oldsmobile, a name that had been etched into the annals of automotive history since 1997, was gearing up to make its mark once again, driven by the visionaries who understood that the future of the American car lay in the balance of power, style, and technology. At the helm of this vision was Ransom E. Olds, the founder whose pioneering spirit still echoed through the halls of the Oldsmobile division of General Motors. His legacy was carried forward by a remarkable team of engineers and designers, including the likes of John Belts and Harold Metzel, who were determined to push the boundaries of what was possible. The prevailing mood at General Motors was one of optimism and excitement, as the Big Three, Ford, GM, and Chrysler, each vied for supremacy in an ever-evolving market. There was a palpable sense of urgency. The competition was not just about selling cars, but about winning the hearts of a nation eager for adventure and freedom. As the engineers gathered around drafting tables, their minds sparked with ideas. The stakes were high. The desire to innovate was fueled by a generation that craved speed, power, and a touch of luxury. The design studios were alive with the chatter of creative minds, sketching the lines of what would soon become the cars of dreams. The mood was electric, as each team sought to outdo the other, crafting not just vehicles but icons that would become synonymous with American culture. In this atmosphere of rivalry, engineers were not just technicians, they were artists, fueled by the desire to capture the imagination of the American public. They were keenly aware of the cultural shifts happening around them, the rise of drive-in theaters, the burgeoning cruising culture, and the soundtrack of rock and roll that filled the airwaves, all of which demanded cars that could keep up with the pace of life. It was a time when the automobile was more than a mode of transportation. It was a symbol of independence and a ticket to adventure. As these dreamers toiled day and night, they were not just building cars, They were laying the groundwork for a revolution in automotive engineering. They envisioned a future where technology would enhance the driving experience, where power could be harnessed with precision, and where the thrill of the open road could be felt with every turn of the wheel. This was an era that would soon give birth to a groundbreaking innovation in the automotive world, one that would change the landscape forever, a testament to the spirit of Detroit and the relentless pursuit of progress. As the Jetfire was taking shape in the design studios of Oldsmobile, America was a nation on the brink of transformation. The early 1960s were marked by a palpable sense of optimism and possibility. Young Americans, eager for adventure and freedom, were not just looking for a means of transportation. They were searching for an expression of their aspirations and their identity. The air was thick with the sound of rock and roll, as legends like Elvis Presley and Chuck Berry filled the airwaves, inviting a generation to break free from convention and embrace the thrill of youth. In those days, the open road wasn't just a path. It was a symbol of freedom, a canvas on which dreams could be painted. Drive-in theaters sprang up across the country, becoming the heartbeat of weekend entertainment, where couples would nestle into their cars, sharing popcorn and stolen kisses under the stars. The Jetfire, with its sleek lines and spirited personality, perfectly matched the mood of a generation eager to hit the road and chase the sunset. Meanwhile, the backdrop of the space race fueled a wave of excitement and pride. As Americans watched in awe as rockets soared into the heavens, their imaginations ignited with the belief that anything was possible. It was an era that celebrated innovation and progress, and the Jetfire was a shining example of that spirit, melding advanced engineering with the promise of exhilarating performance. With its turbocharged engine, a first for a production car, it answered the call of young drivers who craved power and speed, all while wrapped in a compact, stylish package that was as much about aesthetics as it was about engineering. The Jetfire was conceived at a time when the American dream was alive and well, and people were eager to embrace the future. The compact size of the Jetfire appealed to a younger audience that didn't just want a car, but sought a companion for their adventures, a vehicle that could keep up with their fast-paced lives while still offering the kind of luxury that made them feel special. It wasn't just about getting from point A to point B. It was about the journey, the experience, and the stories that would unfold along the way. As the Jetfire rolled off the assembly line, it stood as a testament to the cultural zeitgeist of the time, embodying the hopes and dreams of a generation ready to take the wheel and drive into the future. With every rev of its engine, it echoed the sentiment of an America in transition, bold, ambitious, and ready to embrace the unknown with open arms. As the Jetfire rolled onto the streets, it wasn't just another car, it was a revelation. Under that sleek, polished hood lay the heart of this marvel, a turbocharged V8 engine that was as much a symbol of American ingenuity as it was a promise of exhilarating performance. This was no ordinary engine. It was a 215 cubic inch power plant that made its presence known the moment you turned the ignition. If you were lucky enough to slip behind the wheel, you would remember that unmistakable roar as the engine came to life, a sound that reverberated in your chest, igniting a sense of pride and excitement that only a true American classic could inspire. Picture it. The sun setting on a warm summer evening, the drive-in theater flickering to life in the background, and you gripping the steering wheel of a Jetfire. That engine, with its turbocharger, was revolutionary. It was the first production car to harness such technology, which meant that every time you pressed the accelerator, you were not just pushing the pedal, but unleashing a torrent of 215 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque that made the world around you blur with excitement. The feeling of acceleration was pure magic, 0 to 60 miles per hour in just about 9.2 seconds, a feat that placed it firmly in the realm of performance cars of its day. But the Jetfire wasn't just about raw numbers. It represented a shift in American car culture, a reflection of a society that was hungry for speed and power wrapped in a compact package. While other manufacturers were still playing catch-up, Oldsmobile had tapped into the pulse of a generation eager for adventure. The 4-speed, hydromatic automatic transmission was like a well-oiled machine, seamlessly shifting gears and allowing you to focus on the thrill of the open road rather than the mechanics of driving. You could feel the rush as you glided through the gears, a sensation that made every trip an adventure and every drive a memorable experience. And let's not forget the engineering behind it all. The Jetfire featured a turbo rocket fluid system, a clever innovation designed to prevent detonation and ensure reliability, giving drivers the freedom to push their limits without fear. It was a nod to the adventurous spirit of the era, a promise that you could take your Jetfire far and wide, exploring every twist and turn of America's highways without hesitation. In essence, the Jetfire was more than just a car. It was a statement. It was a declaration that American engineers could dream big. And with that turbocharged V8, they delivered a product that would inspire generations of car enthusiasts. The Jetfire was a pioneer, setting the stage for the performance vehicles that would follow, and if you were fortunate enough to experience its power, you knew you were part of something special, a moment in time where dreams met the open road. As we delve deeper into the essence of the 1963 Oldsmobile Jetfire, we must take a moment to appreciate the artistry that went into its design, a true reflection of the era's spirit and ingenuity. The Jetfire, with its sleek silhouette and bold stance, was more than just a car. It was a statement, a promise of the freedom and adventure that awaited those behind the wheel. Designed under the visionary leadership of Harley Earl, the Jetfire's lines were crafted with a sense of purpose and elegance that spoke to a generation yearning for something new. The long hood, gently tapering toward the front, evoked a sense of speed even when standing still, while the carefully sculpted rear offered a nod to the powerful performance that lay within. Sitting inside the Jetfire was an experience unto itself. As you opened the door, you were greeted by an inviting interior, a blend of luxury and sportiness. The plush bucket seats cradled you, while the dashboard, adorned with chrome accents, gleamed under the soft glow of the instrument lights. The steering wheel, a perfectly molded piece of art, felt just right in your hands, inviting you to take control and embark on a journey. It was not just about driving, it was about connection, a direct link between driver and machine. Imagine yourself behind that wheel, looking out over the expansive hood, feeling the gentle rumble of the turbocharged V8 engine beneath you. There was an exhilarating sense of power and responsiveness, as if the car was eager to leap forward at your command. With every press of the accelerator, you could feel the rush of adrenaline as the Jetfire surged ahead, transforming the mundane act of driving into an electrifying experience. It was a time when the open road beckoned, and the hum of the engine harmonized with the tunes of the radio, playing the hits of the day, music that spoke to the dreams and aspirations of a generation. The Jetfire was designed not just to transport you, but to elevate your spirit. It embodied the essence of the American dream, a vehicle that represented the aspirations of those who sought adventure and the thrill of the drive. The combination of its innovative engineering and striking design made it a beacon of pride for its owners, a car that turned heads and sparked conversations at drive-ins and car meets alike. Each time you slid behind the wheel, you weren't just starting an engine. You were igniting a passion, a love for the open road, and a celebration of the freedom that only a car like the Oldsmobile Jetfire could deliver. The feeling was palpable, a blend of nostalgia and excitement that resonated deeply with anyone who had the pleasure of owning or even just riding in one. It was a true embodiment of the phrase, "The journey is just as important as the destination." As the sun set over the bustling streets of America in 1963, the air was thick with excitement and the unmistakable roar of engines. The Oldsmobile Jetfire was about to make its mark, a new contender stepping onto the asphalt stage, ready to claim its title as the king of the road. With its sleek silhouette and striking turbocharged V8 engine, it was a car that promised thrills and delivered them with style. Imagine the scene. Young couples fresh out of high school cruising by drive-in theaters where the latest rock and roll hits filled the night air, while the Jetfire, with its gleaming chrome and vibrant colors, caught the eye of every passerby. In a market saturated with formidable opponents, the Jetfire was not just another car. It was a statement. Competing against the likes of the Chevrolet Corvair Monza, the Buick Skylark, and the Ford Falcon Sprint, the Jetfire stood out with its pioneering spirit. While its rivals offered various charms, the Jetfire was unique, boasting the first factory-installed turbocharged engine in a production vehicle. That turbocharger was not just a technical feat. It was a promise of power, a whisper of exhilarating speed that would send your heart racing the moment you pressed the accelerator. If you were at the stoplight, you could feel the anticipation building. Who would win this test of might? The competition was fierce. The Chevrolet Corvair Monza, with its quirky design and sporty handling, appealed to a younger crowd seeking something different, while the Ford Falcon Sprint flaunted its cool factor with a sleek profile and a reputation for reliability. The Buick Skylark, on the other hand, offered a touch of luxury, perfect for those who preferred a more refined ride. Yet, there was something special about the Jetfire. With 215 horsepower surging beneath its hood and the ability to reach 60 miles per hour in just over 9 seconds, it was an experience that transcended mere transportation. Picture this: a warm summer evening, the Jetfire idling at the stoplight, the engine rumbling like a lion ready to pounce. As the light turned green, the driver would unleash the power, feeling the turbocharged surge propelling them forward, leaving rival cars in a cloud of dust. It wasn't just about winning. It was about the thrill of the chase, the camaraderie of the road, and the sense of freedom that only a classic American car could provide. The Jetfire didn't just compete. It became a part of the cultural fabric, a symbol of youthful rebellion and the quest for speed. It represented an era where cars were more than machines. They were extensions of our aspirations and dreams. In those moments behind the wheel of a Jetfire, you weren't just driving. You were living the American dream, one exhilarating mile at a time. As the sun began to set on the golden age of the automobile, the Oldsmobile Jetfire carved out a niche for itself, not merely as a car, but as a symbol of a generation's spirit. Its sleek lines and turbocharged roar caught the attention of the young and the restless, those cruising down Main Street with dreams as big as the open road. The Jetfire became more than just a mode of transportation. It was a ticket to freedom, a promise of adventure, and a reflection of the rapidly changing American culture. If you were around during that time, you might recall the thrill of drive-in theaters, where the air was filled with the scent of popcorn and the excitement of a new flick. Imagine pulling up in a Jetfire, its polished chrome gleaming under the neon lights, turning heads as you parked. It was a scene that encapsulated the era, a car that made you feel alive, a vehicle that was as much about style as it was about substance. It wasn't just a car, it was part of the fabric of youth culture, a companion on those warm summer nights filled with laughter and adventure. The Jetfire found its way into the hearts of many through the television screens of America. Picture it now, action-packed shows featuring daring heroes behind the wheel of their Oldsmobile, taking on the world with a turbocharged engine that seemed to embody their very spirit. While it may not have starred in the blockbuster hits of the time, the Jetfire quietly earned its stripes, representing the aspirations and desires of the youth. It was the car of choice for characters who showcased the daring bravado of the age, a vehicle that fit seamlessly into the narratives of rebellion and independence. Though this remarkable machine may not have received the level of fame that some of its contemporaries did, it held a special place in the hearts of those who experienced its power firsthand. The Jetfire was a pioneer, a vehicle that pushed the boundaries of engineering with its turbocharged engine, and it whispered promises of speed and performance to those who dared to take the wheel. It was an invitation to experience life in the fast lane, to enjoy the adrenaline rush of acceleration and to savor the thrill of the open highway. In its brief production run, the Oldsmobile Jetfire became a cherished memory for those who were fortunate enough to own one, and it remains a beloved piece of automotive history. It embodies the dreams and aspirations of an entire generation, standing as a testament to the spirit of American ingenuity and creativity. Today, when we reminisce about that era, we remember the Jetfire not just as a car, but as an icon, a powerful reminder of the freedom, excitement, and promise of the American dream. As we draw our journey to a close, let's take a moment to reflect on why the Oldsmobile Jetfire still matters today, nearly 6 decades after it first graced our roads. For many, it's more than just a car. It is a relic of a time when American ingenuity reigned supreme. The Jetfire was not only the first production car to feature a turbocharged engine, but it also represented the audacious spirit of the early 1960s, a time when the possibilities seemed endless and innovation was the name of the game. Today, collectors cherish the Oldsmobile Jetfire not just for its rarity — only about 9,600 units were produced — but for what it encapsulates: a bold leap into the future of automotive design. The Jetfire stands as a testament to the dreams of countless young Americans who longed for speed, style, and the thrill of the open road. You see, owning one is like holding a piece of history. It's a connection to a vibrant era characterized by drive-in theaters, cruising down Main Street with the radio blasting the latest hits, and the sweet scent of freedom that filled the air. For those who remember, the Jetfire is a symbol of adventure and rebellion, a reminder of the youthful exuberance that defined a generation. It stirs nostalgia for those days spent with friends, the laughter shared, and the miles traveled. The car embodies a spirit of exploration, of chasing sunsets and dreams. Though it faced challenges that led to its discontinuation, the Jetfire's legacy lives on, influencing the turbocharged vehicles we see today. In the grand tapestry of American automotive history, the Oldsmobile Jetfire shines as a beacon of creativity and ambition. It reminds us that while times may change, the yearning for adventure, the love for innovation, and the pride in American craftsmanship endure. So, as we turn the final page on this chapter, let us carry forward the spirit of the Jetfire, an emblem of a bygone era that still ignites the hearts of those who lived it. After all, it was never just about the car, it was about the dreams, the journeys, and the memories that will forever be etched in our minds. Thank you for taking this trip down memory lane with us. If you enjoyed it, a subscription and a thumbs up would mean the world. We're trying to build a community here for folks who appreciate the classics, so I'd be honored if you'd share a memory of the 1963 Oldsmobile Jetfire in the comments below. Let me know where you're watching from and what this car means to you. Your stories are the real history. Until next time, take care.